Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. So today what we're going to be doing is checking out the Eachine Racer 250. Now this is fairly new on the market, and I just got this is the ARF version from banggood.com. They're providing this for a review, and basically this is the one that comes with just the craft, no receiver, so you got to put in your own receiver for your radio control to work with this. This is not the RTF version. The RTF version comes with the receiver and the controller. This only comes with the craft and everything basically you see here with the FPV setup and all that kind of stuff pre-installed. You just need to get your own receiver. But anyway, this was the review model from banggood.com. I will have the links down in the description down here of where you can click to check this one out, purchase it if you want, if you're interested. But anyway, what we're going to be doing today is unboxing this thing, giving it kind of a nice thorough inspection, going ahead and installing a RX, a receiver for our transmitter, and getting it all up and running. This one's just going to be the initial unbox, inspection, and setup, like all my videos are. And then the second video is going to be actually the flight test, which I've been kind of doing now. I've been splitting it up a little more, and it kind of works better with my schedule, and then come on back to the bench and do kind of a final pros and cons just to see how this thing did, kind of like I do with my other quadcopters and reviews. So anyway, let's get this thing out of the box and see what it's all about. So the actual box here of the ARF model here is just, it's got a color image on front, nothing really on the sides except some little graphics. You got this little handle here, and then it's just kind of got a top-down view, kind of simple black and white photo here. Okay, so it looks like the whole thing just kind of slides out in one little foam caddy here. Nice and packed away, really nice and tight. We got our instruction manual right on top. And then it looks like we have the LiPo charger. This is just your basic plain and Jane LiPo charger with a power plug you'd plug into your wall. And you plug this in right here. Now this version here, the ARF, oh, it does come with a battery. Okay, so they do give us a battery. They're giving us a 1500 mAh LiPo battery, 3S, 11.1 volt in here with XT connector and a balance connector on it there. So that's great news. I was expecting maybe it not to come with a battery, so that's good. Get started with that. So really all you have to bring in yourself is your receiver, your RX, to hook up to whatever controller you have or you want. So anyway, there's the charger. Then over here, just kind of digging down here, it looks like they give you a nice quality lanyard for your controller with their kind of brand, Eachine brand on it. So if you did need a lanyard, this looks like a pretty good quality one here. It's nice and smooth, rounded, and this material is really nice and strong, soft material. And then just going to kind of take everything out around the quad first just to see what we get. So here's our propellers. So they're actually giving us two sets of propellers. So we have 4 kind of clear propellers, and we have 4 black propellers, 5-inch with a 30-degree pitch propellers. And then over here in this side we have a couple more little bags of goodies here. And it looks like that's everything that's in all the slots. So here's your 5.8 gigahertz FPV antenna. So basically this is going to attach to the top of the craft to give you that 5.8 gigahertz FPV signal back to your goggles or screen or whatever you're using. And this is going to be probably a 3 cloverleaf antenna in here. And then a couple more bags. It looks like this bag, they're giving you all kinds of different little wiring harness attachments here, and then also a little carbon fiber wrench, which is cool, a little prop wrench there. It's kind of a cool little bonus. And here's your battery strap, and it looks like they give you a bunch of plugs for any kinds of configurations you're going to have for probably your own receiver you bring in. So you have all these different kinds of DuPont plugs, you have little single plugs here, you have multiple plugs here, wiring harnesses, and this could also be for if you did want to run like different FPV cameras and whatnot as well. So a good assortment of, looks like 4 different plug wiring harnesses here. And then last thing in the box is this little bag here. And it's looking like for your receiver to plug into the flight controller of the craft. And here's a little adapter here. So this would be a little adapter if you needed to adapt your type of receiver or whatever you had into the craft. So they give you a lot of different options as far as FPV and RX adapters and wiring harnesses here. So I think that's really commendable for them to give you that many options. And then also it looks like this thing just flopping around. This is a Euro to US adapter. It looks like they threw in here just in case. Anyway, taking out the Eachine 250 Racer. Finally. Here it is. So here we can see it's looks like it's pretty good quality. It's got the plastic braced arms here, and the top chassis looks like carbon fiber, a durable carbon fiber. Looks like they have a few little spacers up here between the arms, and it's just sandwiched. The arms are sandwiched between the top and the bottom plates here. The bottom plate looks like kind of a PCB board. It's going to be fiberglass with the power distribution and all the plug-in electronics kind of integrated here with the flight controller on top. And this would be a CC3D flight controller. So you'll be able to hook into that with a USB port here. You can see there's a USB port inside of there. You can hook that into your computer, you can change, you can tune it, and you can make this thing fly really fast or really docile with these kinds of flight controllers. And it looks like they have an open flight controller here. There's no casing around it to save you some weight. And then it looks like, just kind of looking inside the top here, it looks like this is the VTX, the video transmitter. It does look like it's a 600 milliwatt video transmitter, so that's some good power. It'll give you some great penetration and a strong video signal. And then this button up here, you can see this little button here. This button is going to be the button you're going to push, and you're going to change the channels in here and all that kinds of stuff. So it looks like it's kind of an open VTX, and it's screwed in through the top here and kind of braced in through the top where you would connect your 5.8 gigahertz antenna. Just going to put that on right away. I've kind of learned that you want to put these things on immediately just so you don't burn out the transmitter. Sometimes if you power up accidentally and you don't have an antenna on, the power has nowhere to go and it fries the electronics in your transmitter. So first thing I would do is put that on right away when you get out of the box. So anyway, looking around here, we've got the flight controller as stated, and then it looks like we're getting some pretty large capacitors in here. You can see that capacitor. They have one on each arm, and so that'll be, looks like, giving us a nice good punch of power when we need it. To our little ESCs here, we've got the little ESCs on the kind of zip tied inside the arms here, nice and tight. And then we have our brushless motors here. And in the manual they're saying these are 2204 2300 kV motors. So that'll give us some good power and lift. And then we have just the prop nuts already installed on top here. Nice little aluminum prop nuts. Then we have our camera mount with some nice soft vibration dampening rubbers here if we wanted to install, say, any kind of recording camera like a GoPro, Runcam, Sony Action Cam, Mobius, any kind of camera like that. Mount that on top with like a zip tie or something. And on the front here, we're looking at the front face plate. Looks like a happy face. So this is an aluminum plate. Looks like a nice red anodized aluminum plate. Here we have the camera cap with our camera, and it's saying that this is a 1000 TVL camera in here, so pretty high resolution on this one. I've only been familiar with like 600 to 900 TVL cameras, so this is a 1000 TVL camera, so it should give us some good resolution in our FPV goggles as well. And it looks like it's mounted through a couple of these notches here. And I'm seeing some screw plates in here, so it looks like we can adjust the angle here. If you're just starting out, this should be fine, just going really slow. But once you start getting better and wanting to fly faster, you're going to start tilting this way to fly faster. And you don't want that camera to be facing the ground, so you're going to want to angle this up a little higher so you have more of a level view of the horizon when you're flying a little faster angled like this. Then we can see these giant LED headlights. So this will give us, it's probably adding a little bit of weight, so I'm sure you could take these off if you didn't want to have those lights. But I guess it's just mainly for orientation, probably for night flying or something. But I don't think you'll really need those lights for normal racing and day flight. I think it's just more of a aesthetic thing they did to put these on here. But anyway, continuing around, coming to the back here, we're seeing that it has an XT60 plug here integrated into the power distribution board for your battery. And you could just slip your battery in here. Looks like there's room to slip it right underneath, right inside here. And then cool thing, they have this LED on back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 LEDs in this little strip here. And it's just kind of soldered and integrated right into the circuit board. So when you turn that on, it should come on. They're saying that you can actually change it to 7 different colors. So we're also going to go ahead and test that out as well. Looking at the directions, it looks like this would be the switch for the lights. So if you want to have the lights off or lights on, either the back or the front, not sure which one this turns off, but we'll be testing that out too. And then spinning it over just to check out the bottom. Looks like the bottom is nicely done. It's got this nice soft touch foam that kind of protects all of the electronics on the bottom of the power distribution board, integrated board here, with our Allen screws kind of countersunk into the foam. Really nicely done. So if we do have some kind of hard landings on the bottom, you probably won't scrape off and mess up any of the electronics that are integrated into the power distribution board. So anyway, let me just go ahead and get a RX receiver out. And we'll go ahead and mount that in here and see if we can get it all booted up and ready to fly. Okay, so went ahead and got the receiver. I'm going to use just basically going to be the receiver, the X8R receiver from my Taranis radio, the Taranis Plus transmitter, and I'm going to get all that configured up in there. But first, let's go ahead and mount her to the craft and the antennas. So what I decided to do was, since this has these kind of short PCB antennas, I went ahead and ordered a couple of these adapters, these kind of mounts for these antennas, and they're kind of cool mounts. You can just get them on eBay, and they kind of lock in these antennas like this, so you can mount them anywhere on the craft, and they stick up nicely. And then you can just put heat shrink tubing over them and heat up your heat shrink tubing to lock them in. So I'm going to be going ahead and mounting this up real quick, and I couldn't really find a good place for this receiver. This receiver is a little bit bulky for a small craft like this, and I wanted to be able to put the battery down in here. I didn't really want to put it up here because then it would have been a little too tight with the antennas and stuff. So I still wanted to keep it down here, but in order to put it down inside, I would have had to mount the receiver on its side. So I'm probably going to be mounting the receiver kind of like this, just right in here, and just double-sided sticky taped right down to the side of the craft here, so that the battery can still slide in like this. The only thing that kind of scares me too with this is if you do get in a crash, if we look here on the bottom, it looks like the battery can hit the flight controller pretty hard. So what I'm also going to be doing is putting a piece of foam in here also, just to protect that. If there is any crash, you're probably going to want some kind of foam in there to dampen the battery from hitting the flight controller and breaking it off or damaging the ports and stuff. So anyway, let's go ahead and mount this receiver up real quick. First things first, I'm just going to shrink wrap antennas into the antenna holders really quick. Sliding those on. Okay, so once that shrink wrap hardens, that thing is really locked in there. So this is a great little 3D printed product here to hold these types of flat antennas in place. Then we're just going to double side sticky tape this right here onto the frame there. There we go. Okay, so that's on there. It's nice and solid. And the receiver is just going to sticky tape down right here. There we go. Now we can just tuck this right in here into the front. Okay, great. So receiver's mounted. The antennas are mounted up here. And we are ready to go ahead and put the propellers on, fire this thing up, and see how it does. Okay, so got this thing connected to OpenPilot for the CC3D's flight controller, and got this configured. Basically what you should probably do if you have the ARF version like this that doesn't have a receiver is when you do put in your own receiver, go ahead and just hook it up through this USB port here onto your computer, download OpenPilot, and just do the basic wizard on OpenPilot just to make sure that your transmitter and everything is working correctly and that you have your flight modes how you want them and stuff like that. Anyway, what I'm going to do now is just go ahead and power it up, make sure everything's working. And if you can notice the battery here, what I did is I just put a little piece of foam on the front and just kind of double-sided sticky taped it in the front, and also just taped it right on, just because when you do slide the battery in, I'm going to be putting the battery in on the bottom portion here. When you do slide the battery in, it kind of butts right into the flight controller over there on the bottom. And so what I didn't want is in a hard crash, I didn't want there some space to be there just in case it hit hard in the front and slid and whacked the flight controller. I didn't want it to break off or damage anything. So I just kind of put this little piece of foam. I'd recommend doing something like that if you have this model. So we're just going to boot this up and see how it does. Turning on the transmitter.
Welcome to OpenTX. Throttle warning. Flight mode normal.
Okay, so the way I configured mine is I have 3 flight modes. This switch here for low self-leveling, so it'll kind of help me self-level a little bit. And then this one here in the middle switch, this is going to be the Ratitude, where you can do full flipping and stuff, but it also has some self-leveling hopefully. And then this all the way down is going to be in full manual rate mode.
Flight mode arrow.
So that will be the full no self-leveling here. I went ahead and used this switch up here to arm it and disarm it. So you have to pull this all the way down, and then that means it's armed. And then you can go ahead and fly. And then if you're flying, the reason I did this is because sometimes you're out of control and you crash, and I wanted to make sure that I could disarm the motors quickly. So say you're flying and you lose control, flip this switch and it will just disarm. That's it set up there. Let's go ahead and put on the props real quick, and then that'll be it for this video. Then the next video will be basically our flight test. So let's go ahead and stick these props on real quick. And so when you are mounting your propellers up, just keep in mind that when you do mount them up, you want them to be in the correct orientation so that the air is pushing down if the propeller is rotating in with the front like this. I think actually maybe I'll just put on all black this time around. Then we're going to use our handy dandy carbon fiber wrench they give us, just to make sure we got these nice and snug. Just go ahead and hold the motor and the propeller and snug it down so it's snug enough so it won't spin on the motor. It won't slip on the motor. Alright, cool. So the Eachine 250 ARF, almost ready to fly model, is ready to fly now. Alright, so there we go. So you can see the FPV screen there. See the Taranis controller. And what this one has is on the bottom, the top right, it's telling you the channel you are on your video transmitter. And then in the middle it's saying the time since it powered up, and on the left, which you can't really see because I have this, something's wrong with my screen, I have this big old spot on my screen, it's telling you the voltage. So at least you have, you know, a few bits of information if you need to time your flights. But anyway, nice clear picture. You can see how nice and clear that is and how fast the response time is. It's basically instantaneous. Alright, so that's the end of the part 1 video, the UnBox inspection and setup for the ARF Eachine Racer 250. So in the next video, we'll go ahead and go out into the park, get some onboard cam video, some FPV video recorded as well, so you can see how it looks in the goggles and just see what this thing can do. But anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed the initial review on this guy. Again, this is a review model from banggood.com. The links are down in the description of where you can pick this guy up if you're interested. And I do a lot of videos like this. I do a lot of reviews, setups, flight tests, and all kinds of stuff for cameras, quadcopters. So check out my channel. I think you'll like it. Let's go fly this thing, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.